Hey everybody, welcome to this video. So today what I really want to go through is explaining a little bit about our journey and I suppose what we've learnt in the sense of, holistically about our business, about our markets, about what drives the needle, what drives successful businesses and, what others ignore basically. And so specifically today, I want to talk about essentially the best investment that we've ever made. Now, when we think about investing in our business, we think about, investing in our products, innovation, tech, premises, marketing, of course. But this is really the number one thing that we have found to have the biggest impact on ourselves as business owners and using this holistic knowledge to be able to drive our business forward and make clearer decisions, profit, revenue, sales generating decisions. And what I'm talking about here is essentially mentoring and coaching. Okay. So we recently just invested in, 40K in a mentor to take us to the next level, basically. And so what we've found so far, we've literally just recouped our investment financially, but many, many months ago, we recouped it, intellectually in a, really specific way that we can really point to that delivered, that delivered, that delivered. And we've now put it down to, financial gain. So there's been a whole lot more ROI than we ever could have imagined at this point in time. But let me just take a step back. So when we began our eCom brand, we felt that mentors and coaching were, a waste of money. Let's be honest. We felt that, telling us somebody what to do, giving us homework, working on, ourselves and our mindset was a waste of time. We were prepared to, figure it all out ourselves. We felt like we had enough of, enough, I guess, ego or, we were going to learn the experience, learn on the job. And we felt that that's what business basically was. You have to go through all of these steps to get to the end and you can't do it any other way. All right. So that was kind of our original mindset. And I'm looking back in hindsight, that's probably the biggest mistake we've actually made, right? Not having somebody there to, I guess, stand on the shoulders of, as they say, to learn from other people's mistakes, to avoid mistakes, to troubleshoot things so much quicker than what we do on our own was probably one of the biggest growth barriers that we actually experienced. Right. And it's only so many years down the line that we've realized how hamstrung we actually were. And to be honest with you, with some of the major decisions that we actually had to make and get through some of the really challenging times, looking at selling the business, looking at shutting down, taking breaks, unprofitable, working 100 hours a week in the business. These things could have been avoided. And to be honest with you, looking back, it's almost surprising that we're actually still going and still in business. I guess it comes down to the real willpower of us to keep going. But to an ordinary person, I would have thought that they would have given up, 10 times over. So, we feel lucky in that sense, but really silly in the sense that we haven't gone down this route before or invested in ourselves and our business in this particular way. All right. So that's kind of the mindset shift that we actually went through to say, well, maybe we do need somebody. Okay. And I guess it comes back to looking at people in business, looking at people in sports, looking at people in everyday life that have coaches and mentors and consultants that they rely on. And anybody that you kind of point to or idolize as successful will more than often than not tell you that they have a coach or mentor or consultant that they live by, that they listen to, that they stick by. And so who are we in a less successful capacity, but want to get to that point to say that it is unnecessary to have these people by your side, right? That is probably the definition of stupidity, looking back on it really critically, right? And so that is probably the big realization that we came to this and understood after a long period of time, way too long, as I just mentioned. There were some serious risks involved throughout our time in business and being on our own, that it could have absolutely blown up in our face, being that naive and egotistic, really, to not have the open-mindedness to say, well, let's rely on somebody else, or let's lean on somebody else, or let's learn from someone who's done what we want to do. That is the most important thing. Why would you not learn from somebody who has done what you want to do to make you see clearer, a clearer path, have clarity and decisiveness in what you're actually doing? All right. And that's the biggest thing that we've found, getting an ROI from having a coach on board, a mentor on board, is that they basically open up that opportunity scope. They can see things that you can't see. They can move at speeds and advise you to do so quicker than you ever could on your own. All right. So the first big win that we had was, and what we found, getting our ROI back on this investment was simply just the mindset and the clarity on what we're actually doing, what direction we actually need to go in. And that, as I say, even, in the first month or so, paid for itself in, mistakes gone, mistakes not actually happened, right? Or time not wasted. Time is money in this economy, or, ad spend wasted. So there were so many little things that we were able to get our investment back really, really quickly. But longer term, we've definitely made that back in sales in, the space of 4 or 5 months. All right. So that's what this is all about, right? To open up your perspective about why we invest in people, to give us the information, the proximity and the guidance to achieve what we want to achieve. Because, as I say, we looking back in hindsight, we were way too slow to the party. We took way too long to actually decide that this is going to be of value. And here we are, a long way down the road. And I'm telling you that we should have done it years and years and years ago. All right. Obviously, it takes the work from you, but if you're working in your business anyway, why wouldn't you invest in somebody that's going to tell you the right things to do so you can actually maximize your time? Everybody has 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, as far as I know. But what separates people who are successful and those aren't is their allocation of time. They don't necessarily work more hours. I mean, you yourself are probably a really hard worker and doing the maximum amount of hours that you can possibly do right now. At least I hope so. But what you can get done in that time is the real difference, working on the very important things. And how are you to know what they are unless someone externally is telling you from their own experience about where they were, where you are now, what you should and shouldn't be doing and spending your time on, and getting other people to do that? You should be working on high revenue sales generating activities. Okay. So that's a real thing that we have got out of it so far. And of course, being able to, safeguard ourselves from the future. So going forward with our skills, going forward with our decision-making processes, going forward with the advice that we've been given now, to be able to make ourselves better managers, better owners, better business owners, and a better business holistically. All right. And so this is where we've had massive, massive value and mindset shifts that's massively impacted on our business and sales, is through having this advice from someone who's done exactly what we wanted to do. And that's the big point from this. Getting guidance from someone who can specifically and clearly advise you on your business and individual circumstances, not just some mass market YouTube video or podcast. Of course, grab little gems from these things. They are relevant to you. But for someone to hold your hand in a way that they intimately understand your business and pull you through the challenging times and decisions, to push you and project you and launch you into the next stratosphere of growth. All right. So that's a huge lesson that we've actually learned. And as I say, we've recouped our investment, certainly within the first month, but financially within 3 to 4 months directly with the advice that's been given to us. And that's something that I just wanted to chat through today. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that opens up your mind, because it took us so long to understand this concept of coaching and the value in mentoring and having someone advising you and to bounce ideas off of. Like, business is a very lonely place sometimes. All right. And especially if you're a solo business owner, it's very challenging to manage everything, decide everything, do everything, let alone there's 2 of us in the business. But even that, right, you need a different perspective, because you start to think the same. You start to make decisions the same, but that may not be the best interest of you and your business. And so I guess with that, I'll really, plead with you to go out and find somebody that can help you, in some capacity. Invest in yourself, invest in your business. That is the best dollar that you can spend, because the output will far outweigh any advertising that you can do, any contractor that you can hire. All right. That's my massive advice to you. And I hope you get some value out of this and take it seriously, because as I say, I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't, important to us or beneficial to us. So I hope you can learn from our mistakes and invest in yourself, invest in your business, whatever it takes. And I guarantee that you'll actually get the results and get the ROI that you deserve from that in a very short period of time. Because the alternative is failure, going out of business, trying something else, getting distracted, shiny object syndrome. All right. So I hope that helps. Any questions, any comments, let me know. But just my 2 cents, and I hope you got some value. See you soon.